What's happening? What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant. You're listening to the Midweek Flow here at WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. What up to the bros in the studio?
Hey,
Basquiat, I see you moved it. You moved it. I mean, you rocking the hair, so I gotta do that. Hello, what's your name?
Today,
what's the name today?
my name is Tejor.
It's who?
Tejor.
Tejurs?
Yeah,
Tejurs.
Tejor.
Again, it sounds Latin.
Hey man, I don't know what it is.
Why
but
you
it
keep
just,
running from the continent?
I don't
bro?
know what it is.
Like, just go tell me your
Hey,
mama got something she want to talk to us
Put
about.
me back on the banana boat and send me
I'm
south.
just saying. You know, it was
Send me
a
to
lot of-
Cuba, man. I want to go to Cuba.
There's a lot of people stuck on asparagus yesterday.
Hey, add a little season and it'll be
people sending me
asparagus.
pictures
Asparagus.
So
Asparagus.
somebody last night before I went to bed, they sent me a picture of zucchini.
Oh,
It
zucchini.
was like,
I think that'll be my name tomorrow.
let's see if that show up. I'm like, come on, fam.
Zucchini.
So I'm just saying, you got the people
Yeah.
a little,
Well,
turned around with your name.
Yeah, today Tejors is in the building.
Tejurs.
Yeah.
And how we get?
Tejor come from you understand me?
I don't.
A cat that had a snakeskin suit on and went overseas.
I don't understand you.
Okay,
I
well let
want
me
to.
give you,
but I
a
don't.
little bit of history.
Oh, come on now, bring it. I'm waiting.
See, it was a
He said,
slick,
let me get you some
it was a slick little thing. You understand me?
I don't.
that left America and went to Paris, France. You understand me?
I do not.
And
I'm trying.
and met this little tender thing. You understand me? And then they had me, named me
Really?
Tejors.
Tejur.
Yeah, that's my story for the day with an S. Tejors.
And I just want to be clear that I heard you say that's my story for
today.
Today.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I just want to thank you.
Tejor.
You have enlightened us all about what drinking will do for you.
Yeah. Tejor says, hey.
You have put us up on game about this is your mind on drugs. I mean, all the stuff we heard as kids that we didn't believe.
Yeah, it's true.
And here you are.
It's true. Prime example right here.
Name changing every day.
Oh man, every day.
Carvey, did I get to ask you how you was doing? Because this always takes like 5 minutes.
I don't know why.
You good? Carvey said he good today. He's fine. He's good today.
It always take a long time.
I
don't know why though. It's...
How did the gig go last night?
Oh my God, it was off the chain, man. Keith
rain.
Came. Nope, it didn't rain.
You got a message for Ride Out? What they say? Carvey's pulling up a message that was sent about Ride Out. What is this?
Oh,
About
see,
me?
about you.
Oh, wait. I always text you, Grand Rising on NOV. Love y'all. Michelle Bryant don't play, do she? She
Law and Order.
Us on what's going on.
Law and Order.
I love it. Yes, Miss. Oh, I see your little answer. Yes, Miss Michelle.
Yeah.
It's something else.
It's something else. I'll tell you, she Law and Order. She Law and Order.
Yeah, I see your little response. Yeah, she's something else.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about you and this hat you got going on over there.
What we talking about?
Listen here, man.
What we talking about?
You got to bend it a little bit to the right. You understand me?
I do both.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go dead on.
Okay.
But I know how to break it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it just depends on what I feel like doing.
Bad memo gem over there.
It's one of my little everyday faves that I like to throw on.
Yeah. No. Everybody can't wear those.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I like hats though.
Okay.
Yeah, I belong to a couple of hat clubs. And,
nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But
you understand me?
Yeah, I had it.
That's what it make me want to say. I don't know why. You understand me?
Yeah, she's something else.
She's something else. You understand me?
Well, with that being said, let me just say that this has turned into a something else kind of day.
Here we go. Here we go.
This morning, it just was interesting. Um, the whole towed car situation got a lot of traction. A lot of people reached out.
So where was they towing cars from?
Uh, a variety of parking lots around the
76
city,
and like good.
76 in Capitol, over off of
Yeah,
Hampton.
yeah,
I've had people towed on the east side,
yeah,
not quite, across Houghton, but down on the east side, Walmart there on
yeah,
Capitol. And, a lot of people are talking about like getting with the business owners because those parking lots
yeah.
don't belong to the business owners.
Who does?
Business owners are renting space on those strip malls. So, like, you think about like a Bouchard's,
Yeah, yeah,
Walgreens,
yeah.
they don't own the parking lot,
Right.
you know. And so as people begin to say, well, look, I'm not gonna come on y'all lot if I got to worry about my car being stolen.
Right.
That some of those business owners would then start pressuring the owners of those properties in that parking lot to say, hey, we got people in here spending bread. And you got folks out here basically what feels like harassing our customers.
What?
So, you know, we need to rethink where we located.
Why
Because
are they towing the cars though?
so this is my theory. I believe that the parking lot owners are getting a kickback of some sort
Gotta be.
because why else would you allow people to come on your premises and harass customers like this? Because that's what it comes down to. You can tell me whatever you want to tell me, but when I looked at one of the videos that Montre Maber had,
Yeah.
that he brought up here,
Yeah, I seen that.
and they trying to tell this sister that you can't park here because it was a handicap insignia on the ground that
Yeah.
was faded out. You couldn't really see it, but there was nothing posted above that spot.
No sign, no nothing.
And we've all seen where formerly something might have been a handicap parking, but then the parking lot changes up the way they do stuff, and so it's no longer that. But there was no signage.
Unbelievable.
And these cats want to insist and try to take the cars anyway. And I'm like, come on, fam. To the point we've seen business owners now coming out, getting at the tow truck companies, like, what are y'all doing? And so, like I said, the person that I had engaged, they end up having their car towed because their back tires was on the little diagonal yellow lines.
What?
But that's not impeding anybody from moving around in the parking lot. It's not impeding the flow of traffic. It's not bothering anybody. So even if her tires were there, you can make somebody pay $400, $450 to get their car back for that.
And you know that these people need their cars, so you jack up the price for these people to come get their car that belong to them.
And most of these people that you see like that's being impacted is women, out moving around, shopping, trying to do their thing. People, that using these handicap stalls. So most of them, I'm gonna say again, that have the least ability to probably pay some of these crazy prices. And yet, I think they said one girl, they was telling her, that telling the tow truck driver, you out of order. So he agreed that, okay, I'm gonna let it down, but you're gonna have to pay me $50 to let it down.
Man, please.
I ain't pay you to put it up.
I ain't paying you nothing, bro.
Illegally. So anyway, so it turned into a whole thing this morning. The brother who did the video filming, he came by the studio, one of the owners from one of the shops. He called into the studio. I heard that he came up here looking for me later today. After I left the show this morning. And, so I'm sure that this conversation is not over. It's not going to go away.
Yeah.
Because there are people that they rightfully are upset. So that was a whole thing this morning.
Out of order.
Completely jumped off. But I just got to mention something, too, that just creeped me out. So there's a young lady that I know, I interact with. And she was telling me this morning after I got off the air, she said, Michelle, I just gotta just say this. I gotta show this to you. I said, what's going on? She said, let me see if I can find it. And she said that she has been passing by this area, moving back and forth. And she had noticed this blue looking
I seen that.
garbage bag.
Outside on Keith.
Where's on Keith?
It's on 18th and Keith.
18th and Keith. So she said she had seen it and passed by it a couple of times, and like, why is that there? But not really thinking nothing else about it.
Yeah.
Well, they said
It's a body.
it was a body in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That
So,
I'm looking for the story, but that was
so
crazy.
I can pull it up. I can find it. Some of my guys that actually live over in that area. I don't know how true it is, but they said it was a body of a female that was.
A dog might have been with her.
Man, that was too big to be a dog.
Yeah, I mean, cause no, it was a nice size bag,
Yeah, that
and
was too big of a. But what I don't understand is for something that big to be laying out on the ground for days and
but you,
nothing like. I mean, because I'm sure police ride through there a lot. City dump trucks. I mean, city garbage trucks come through to pick up garbage and things like that, and nobody said anything.
you know, people will become so acclimated
Yeah,
to debris, to trash being in communities that they don't really they don't take it upon themselves to try to figure out what's going on.
see, but something of
I
that
can see that.
size, something of that size,
I mean, it
laying
was
out,
a nice
it was a
size
nice size.
bag.
So that's what kind of got me confused. Because something of that nice size, it's not like it's like, small garbage or something. It's something that's like, hold on, this is not the typical. So even for the garbage people that's picking up garbage, like, and then the whole smell of things, like how,
I just it just shook me when she showed it to me, particularly when people are saying I'm passing this.
yeah,
I see it. I
yeah,
saw that bag,
yeah,
and you realize that that's somebody's child, family member, loved one,
yeah,
daughter, whatever,
yeah,
that potentially has been laying there. And like you said, now I'm thinking about how long you've been there,
yeah,
but also, again, the kind of people that can do stuff like that.
yeah,
And,
unbelievable.
that constant warning and reminder to particularly women in our community, like, y'all
Yeah,
be careful, man.
yeah,
Who y'all interacting with, who y'all jamming with, who y'all moving around with. Y'all got to be careful. And to the point that people was making about they believe it's human trafficking going on over here by the radio station.
yeah,
Early this morning, while I'm on the air, Debo was like, you know, turn around.
yeah.
And I turn around, see the little young white girl walking over here across the street,
Told you,
looking all kind of wrecked.
told you.
And but it's one, the one white lady that's always out here picking up cigarettes off the ground.
Mm,
So I was like, that's not, and I call her a cigarette lady.
mm,
I'm like, that's not the cigarette lady. He was like, nah. He was like, look. So I looked over there. This young lady was a lot younger.
yeah,
Um, and so it just was, and it stands out.
hmm,
It stands out.
yeah,
But we just got real issues, man.
yeah,
Across the street, right here from the radio station, in this abandoned house,
yeah,
you know, Debo again came in the studio. He was like, Michelle, it's a sister sleeping
yeah,
on the porch over there at the abandoned house.
yeah,
And I was like, what? He's like, look, I don't want to say nothing to her because I don't want to scare her or alarm her.
yeah,
But would you go see if she all right?
yeah,
I go across the street. So before I go, you know, thank you to the station.
yeah,
I grabbed some waters.
yeah,
I grabbed 2 or 3 bags of chips and stuff that we have here
yeah.
in the reception area, put them in a bag. I go across the street and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she said, I'm homeless.
Wow, Lord,
And she was like probably in her early 30s.
yeah,
And I saw all her stuff, where she was like folding it up. She had slept on the porch. And I said, well, why you out here, man? I was like, you didn't go to one of the shelters? And she said, I had to be there by a certain time. I couldn't get in. So
I don't understand.
I'm just out here. And she was like, I was just getting ready to get up to go try to find me something to eat. So thank you,
Wow,
because and she literally opened the chips and stuff up and started eating them while I was still standing there. And this morning, I leave and I see 2, 3, 4 brothers that's clearly homeless. And they all like are right around
yeah,
in
yeah,
this area.
yeah,
It's kind of crazy.
yeah. It's really tripping me out because I grew up in this area. I spent 20 something plus years in this area on 21st and Atkinson, and we didn't see this stuff. We didn't see none of this stuff that's happening now. So just to see it now and see how the neighborhood is it's heartbreaking because you just see these people walking. And the other day when I came into the station, I seen a good friend that I known for years and saw her out here, and I was like,
Like homeless or just out
well,
here in these
just
streets?
out here in these streets. And it broke my heart because I've known her for years. She's a great person. And just to see her out here was just like, oh my God, my heart just went out to her. And it's just like, man, this is real
And
different
so
now.
it's interesting because the county, when they talk about their effort to deal with chronically unhoused people.
Yeah,
So then you realize that we're talking about people who have been out on the streets more than a year.
yeah,
But I'm like, okay, so what is our messaging and work around people that's been out here 30 days, 60 days, 6 months? And I'm looking at, like, it just, I don't know if I'm just noticing it more or if it's more prevalent, but it then made me think about the law that they passed in California.
yeah.
Just got signed a couple of days ago. That, number one, um, and they're layered laws, that being homeless now is against the law in California if it results in you sleeping on the streets.
Wow.
It's against the law. You can be arrested
What?
and jailed for sleeping on the streets. Um, and it comes on the heels of a Supreme Court ruling, um, in which cities now have the ability to enforce fines and make arrests for public camping and sleeping outdoors. So we got a whole, and I just got video sent to me this morning of the parking ride where you
Yeah,
got
the
a
way they was
bunch of these
fighting.
people, they was
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah, yeah,
And you got these people in campers that have parked their campers on the parking ride.
yeah.
Um, I gotta take a break, but when I come back, like the numbers in California, they said it was like 181,000 homeless people in just California.
So listen, though, when we come back, I want you to answer this question that I'm about to ask you right now. With
Okay.
all of these abandoned buildings and with all these people that's needing jobs, I'm sure that there's a way that they can create jobs for these people and for these homeless people, put them in these places, give them somewhere to live, and also create jobs for the jobless. Why aren't they doing this?
Let's talk about it. We'll be back. Michelle Bryant, WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. You're listening to the midweek flow. Be right back.
Fresh out of Air magazine. Buy home bottles. Look, pimp juice. If you're a bad
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So before we went to break, Jermaine out here dropping questions.
Hey, I got 21 of them. 21 questions.
21 questions. Oh, what was old girl who did 21 questions?
Well, I was talking about 50 Cent.
I know she did a riff on.
Yeah, she did. She
on
did.
21 questions.
Yeah.
And it,
Yeah, I forgot what it was.
oh my God, because I think I played it. I know it's on my Facebook page because I loved it when I heard it. But okay. So you posed the question.
Yeah.
Michelle, we got vacant properties. We got people that's unemployed that need to work. Why can't we put some of those vacant homes to use as facilities, places where homeless people can go?
Yeah.
And the folks that's not unemployed, that's not working, we can put them people to work doing some of this work.
Yeah.
So we talked already in the break
Yeah.
why some of that poses a challenge. Because number one, do you have skill sets that I can utilize to build a house, to repair a house, to do upgrades? On the unemployment side. Number two, people in communities saying, hold on, wait a minute. I don't want another group home. I don't want a home, for people transitioning in and out of states of unshelteredness or homelessness. Yeah, I don't really want that in my neighborhood. And then you even said during the break, what did you say about? So you'd rather have?
Oh yeah, so you would rather have eyesores than property that's been fixed up. But yes, it's for the homeless and people are working in there. But it's better than having an eyesore.
And then on one hand, I'd ask the question like, so how many individuals come with mental health issues and challenges?
Yeah.
I've met some homeless people that were offered housing. They did not want it. They didn't want the restrictions. They didn't want what, having to answer to anybody, being told they got to be in at a certain time, being patted down, checked when they came in. And so they said, I'd rather stay on the streets. To me, that sounds crazy. But I know a number of people who definitely was making those kinds of choices.
Yeah.
One of the things I was going to say about in California is that they said, okay, now that the Supreme Court ruled back last year in June that they could allow cities to enforce laws and fines and arrest people for camping and sleeping outdoors. Think about that for a second. So like Dontre Hamilton could have been arrested for sleeping outside in the park.
So
they said, we're going to do what you just said. We're going to get abandoned properties, turn them into, facilities, living situations where unhoused people can stay there. But I've talked before about the fact that that's why when it started to crop up here, I wasn't really surprised how they had parking rides in California that they had made. The city basically had went ahead and sanctioned in certain cities in California for people that were homeless but owned a car to be able to park their car and sleep in those lots at night so that they could be safe, because they had women and children sleeping in their cars because they're homeless. And so the city was like, look, rather than y'all being in some dark side street, somebody potentially harm y'all, we're going to put police and security out here. Y'all can come sleep on this parking lot and then leave in the morning. And so that actually is a thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm tripping about, because I've seen it. But then, I think of all of these abandoned, like, building, and I'm going to use for an example, like the A.O. Smith building, right? That's something that if they created some type of shelter, is room enough in there that they can house.
So this becomes a question, because I don't really know a ton about some of these properties. So like A.O. Smith.
Right.
So I don't know if there's any type of like brownfield concerns, contamination concerns
Right.
that could be extremely costly to clean up.
Yeah.
You know, we think about what just went on with this project
Yeah.
that they built, the
Yeah.
Commons,
Yeah.
and these bros put all this money into this,
Yeah.
and then you find out that you got ground contamination, soil contamination.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these properties, particularly with these older commercial uses,
Yeah.
it ain't no telling what's underneath these properties.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Asbestos in the walls because
Yeah.
of the old building
Yeah.
materials. So a lot of times people don't want to take it on because they worried about the additional costs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to your point, we got to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, we got way too many people out here struggling.
Yeah.
And like I said, coming on this corner every day, it just, because like where I live, you don't see a ton. You
Yeah.
don't see it
Yeah.
because there's no place for people to go because
Yeah.
it's all single family housing. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of commercial
Yeah.
space on the streets that I'm on.
Yeah.
And so you just don't see it.
Yeah.
And you get out there, you're going to need a bus to get out there.
Yeah.
So getting back is an issue.
Yeah.
You also have access to more people, you know, so, hey, sis, can you spare some change? And I'm going to tell you, I was at McDonald's after I got off the station one day. This was not even 2 weeks ago. And brother came up to me in the drive-through window and he said, excuse me, miss, he said, I'm trying to get something to eat. So I said, well, what you trying to do? You trying to get some money or you trying to get some food?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, no, I want some food.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll get you something. And so I said, what you want? He said, whatever you buy me. I said, nah, because I don't eat everything.
Yeah.
I said, tell me what you want. Since I'm buying it, get what you want.
Oh.
And so I got his order, gave it to him. When he took the food from me, this brother's hands. Now, you know, I know how like fingertips look, like people that smoking, doing crack and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But his hands didn't have that burnt out look
Yeah.
on the tips.
Yeah.
He just was so dirty.
Yeah.
Like he had been outside for 2 years.
Yeah.
He was just so dirty.
Yeah.
But when I tell you, when he spoke and he thanked me for the food, if my eyes were closed, I could have been in the Capitol.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. What's so crazy? It's funny that we even talking about that because I was at the gas station on one time, and it was a young man that was out there, young guy. So what I always do is, when they ask for either money or change, or they ask for money or food. So my thing is, for the people that say, "Hey, I'm hungry. Can you help?" I ask them, "Okay, well, if you're hungry, I can take you in the store, and you can buy whatever you want to buy to help feed you." And this particular young man, he had a family, and he was saying how he was hungry and he didn't have anything. So I just got paid. Went into the store, told him, I said, "Man, get whatever you want." I said, "Get whatever you need for your family, whatever it is, get it." So he looked at me and he was like, "Are you sure?" I said, "Man, get whatever you want, whatever you need. I got you. I'm gonna pay for it." So there was people that was in the store and they just looked at me, and I was like, "Well, that's how you get blessed." And I just believe myself. That's why I'm in the position that I'm in right now, because I have a heart for the people. I have a heart to see people win. And when I saw this young man, and when he brought everything up there and I paid for it and he put it in the bag, just the look he had on his face was good enough for me.
Right.
Like he didn't even have to say thank you. He didn't have to say none of that. It was just the look, because I knew he wasn't out for the money. He was really in a situation that he needed something. And that right there, when I walked out of the store, I said, "God, thank you for allowing me to be in position," because I've always said, "God, I want to get to the point that, when I can just, to help people and all this other stuff. And, man, God, I want you to bless me so I'll be able to." So then when he started blessing me, he put me to the test.
Mm,
Are you gonna do what you said you was gonna do?
mm.
And it was a substantial amount of money that was spent, but I didn't care about that because he put me to the test and I passed that test because I didn't even think about it at that time. Went in, got it. Hey, brother, be blessed.
Right.
And I felt good inside. So I knew it was a good thing. I knew it was a God thing because I felt great afterwards.
I mean, and that's the thing, because I had these conversations. People are like, no, I don't give money because then you perpetuate it, you keep a problem going. And I said, look, it's all for me. It's on an individual basis.
Yeah.
I pay attention to the surroundings, what I think is right or wrong.
Yeah.
Hang on. Somebody said they sent me a text message. I see this a lot in Cincinnati. We went to a chicken place here and a gentleman asked me, could I buy him something to eat? I could tell that something was off about him, but he just wanted something to eat.
Yeah.
He said thank you, and I told him to be safe.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just do.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand people who say no every time.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you ain't got it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. I got it's gonna take. I can't do it right now. But there are people like I don't do that. I don't get nobody nothing. I'm like, well, I mean, we all get to decide how we spend our own money, but I have learned, and even on the food thing, and then I'll move on. But even on that food piece, where folks are like, well, if they want something to eat, I'll buy them something to eat. I ain't gonna get nobody no money. And I had to tell people one time, like, hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't need food.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that because it sounds more palatable
Yeah.
to the person I'm begging.
Wow.
I need toilet paper
Yeah.
out here in these streets,
Yeah.
using the bathroom wherever I can use the bathroom.
Yeah.
I need toothpaste and a toothbrush.
Yeah.
So when I go in McDonald's bathroom, I can brush my teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get a different reaction when you say, a grown man asking you for some money to buy some toilet paper.
Yeah.
Versus a grown man saying, can I get some money for some, something
food.
to eat?
Yeah.
Because we all can identify with something to eat. When you start talking about those other incidentals that people need, because think about everything you use in the course of a day to get through the day. Everything.
I think some of the pushback from some of the people be because some of these guys will tell you, hey, I just want to get something to drink. Man, I need $2 more because I want to get something to drink, or I need this because I need something to smoke. Well, I mean, to me, sometimes it's like, okay, do I really want to give you the money to help kill yourself? Or, so I think that's just for me, what I struggle with sometimes, because I've actually had a person say that to me. Hey, man, I'm just trying to go get me something to drink at the liquor store. Well, brother, I don't drink, so I don't know how that feel. But
okay, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm on the air.
She's on the air.
Yeah, close the door. Like, I'm on the air, fam.
Lord have mercy, Jesus. Lord.
Somebody said, I had this conversation with my little one. He saw me give a man some money, and he said, Mom, he is homeless and he is hungry. I didn't even think my son knew about that. Yeah, you'll be surprised at what people know and what people understand and what these children are paying attention to. Our kids are watching us even when we don't think they are. And they are able to start processing stuff as early as 3 and 4 and 5 years old.
Yeah.
Kids see somebody crying just because of model behavior.
Yeah.
They instinctively go pat them and rub them like it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely watching us.
That's
and
true.
You got to think about like
that.
what type of example you trying to be in front of this child. And because I tell people all the time, you teach empathy, you teach compassion, you teach love, you teach.
Preach. Give it an offer, put it in the bucket.
Oh, you know what?
You
just made me think about something crazy.
Take that off.
Dude that threw $5 out here.
And I'm gonna put it in the bucket.
What about you preaching?
You preaching.
Put it in the bucket.
Yeah.
Do we need to have a preach bucket?
Yeah, right there. A preach basket right there.
A preach basket. Well, we got some callers on the line. Let me get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Oh, yeah. What I wanted to say is be careful when giving money, because see, I have seen a couple of times where they be standing outside asking for money,
Uh-huh.
and they'll walk right around the corner and change their clothes and jump in a 2000 DTS or a beat up
I've
BMW.
seen that
So I
too.
I've seen that.
so
I've
I
seen
tell
that.
people, so I always tell them I can't care about somebody who don't care about themselves. And you got too many options going on with your body to have all these morals. So at the end of the day, make it do what it do. You know, you know,
What?
yeah.
Are you
Well,
encouraging people to be prostitutes? What are you doing?
well,
Al,
well,
what
I'm
is
not.
wrong with you, man?
May, I'm
Al,
not encouraged. I
Al,
mean,
you
can I say
know,
something?
you go ahead.
All I'm saying is you can't have too many morals and be in a place of need.
Yes,
And
you
if you push,
can.
and
Yes, you can.
if you got a 2000 DTS with a North Star motor, or you pushing a BMW, something wrong with your morals. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Well,
Because if
I mean,
your
I
family,
appreciate that piece,
I
but
mean, because like I be seeing some asking for $5, $10, $20. I'm like, well, you see that mud kicker right over there. Why don't you go talk to her? Why don't y'all get together and make something happen?
see,
But
you know
I
what?
but I supposed to take my money that I work hard for and give it to you. I'm not your blessing. You better make it do what it got to do. I mean, Jesus did it with the 12 disciples,
Al,
and yes,
Al,
he wait. Hold
Al.
on, Michelle.
Sometimes we are
Michelle.
intended to be a blessing to other people, Al.
But remember this, Michelle.
Yeah.
Remember this.
What?
Jesus was a virgin with the prostitutes, but he wasn't one with the 12 disciples, and everything was going on up under them tables. That's why he stood with them all the time. And he was
Al,
running with prostitutes and
Al.
still a virgin. Something wrong with the water, and it ain't crystal sporidium. Have a good day.
That, do it seem like I just give up? Like I'm defeated when I talk to Al.
Oh, I
Like,
tell you.
it just.
Oh, that cat. Listen,
Yeah,
he just do something to me when he called.
does he?
I mean, rolling.
Does he?
That cat
I
is
mean,
hilarious.
I mean, and while there is validity to some of the points, because I've seen people take the money, and then like I saw this one lady, oh, I'm trying to get some money for me and my kids. We hungry, just trying to buy some bologna. She actually said bologna. So if the story be too detailed, then it gives me pause.
Oh yeah,
because you got way too many details going on.
or they had a car do with their hood up, talking about, man, I need some gas. Can you give me some money for some gas? So at one time I kind of watched. And I was like, well, I don't have it because I didn't have cash. I had a card. I got in my car. Man, they let that hood down, started their car, drove off, went across the street to the next gas station, opened their hood, and did the same thing.
Well, I mean, it depends on like what somebody gave me. If somebody gave me $2, that ain't
Oh, you ain't going far.
that ain't give me a gallon.
So you going to the next pump.
I gotta still keep the hustle
Man,
going.
gas $1,000 a gallon. You going to the next pump. You ain't going
I'm
nowhere.
just saying, you might have to keep the hustle going to get up to the $5
Dang.
to be able to get that tank and a half.
Oh,
I'm sorry, gallon and a half. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Yeah, you guys are kind of hilarious today, but you know, it's a lot of folks that I see out here begging. I own a couple auto shops, and one of them is in the area where it's big prostitution, and I mean, my heart goes out for them. My heart really goes out for them, and the women come, they ask you for money because I'm not going to indulge in their illicit behavior. I'm not going there. I can't go there. It just don't turn me on. It really turns me off. But for the most part, I do what I can to help them. I send them to the rescue mission. I know a lot about that. I try to, and even guys, I help them, and I try to get them in places where they can get the help that they need. And I help you the best I can. A lot of times, you know, they want the money, and it's fine to give them the money if they're doing right by it. Or if they're hungry, you feed them. But the thing is that you know, the avenues out here, there's a lot of avenues out here to help these people homeless or hungry that, you know, if you just give it to them all the time, they're going to come back. But you teach them how to fish, you know, they can get it for a lifetime. And there's a whole lot of them out here that's very cunning. They're so cunning that, you know, like the man said, you know, they over there pumping the gas, this, that, and the other, you know. And I tell them, I said, look here, bro, I have no problem with helping you. I tell you what, let me help you out. I got some work for you to do for a few hours, and I want to give you some money. I'm not gonna give it to you. I want you to work for it. And a lot of them, no, man, I ain't got time for that. Okay, well, I gotta let you go. But I thank you guys. Y'all keep up the good work.
No, thank you, bro. I appreciate the call and the perspective. Like I said, I don't, um, you know, dismiss or diminish any of the sentiments that people are expressing because we know we've seen it all. You know, Keon used to talk all the time about this one brother that was down near Axon that was always asking for money and really like when you take Fond du Lac all the way down by that bridge, and dude would be standing like right in there. And Keon was like, this dog he stayed around the corner from my house. He was like, he got a house. He got X, Y, and Z. And I always think about, well, what puts people out on the street stuff? What puts you out here? Because just because I live someplace don't mean I'm living. Like I was just telling this to somebody else. Me and my brother actually was having this conversation too. So my brother is not married, and he has had this series of heart attacks.
Oh,
And so my brother, who is an extremely amazing saver, like bruh is U.S. Bank, like
wow.
um truck driver for that's been his career, and he has been married, but he's divorced now. Dude stack paper. Like I could go in my brother's drawer and pay a couple of car notes with just money he put in his
In the
drawer
drawer.
at the end of the night.
Yeah.
He got jars of change
Mhm.
that could probably, I don't know, it could probably it could do something. You know, like I could probably take a in country vacation on the jars because pickle jar, it just go and they just line in the back wall
Yeah.
of the closet. And so this is I'm trying to set it up because this is this dude. But after he started having the heart attacks shortly after my mother died, he would have to be off a job. And then, you know, he'd end up having to let a job go because of what was going on. And I got you. Yeah, he'd have to let a job go because of what was going on. And so then he'd find another job. And then, you know, you always got that waiting period, that 60 days, 90 days before health insurance can kick in. And so my brother is paying for all this stuff out his pocket. And then, you know, you had the heart attack. You got 2 months of recovery before you back in the game and you working, and he drives a truck. So you got to make sure you ain't out here potentially about to kill nobody. Um, and so you doing all this back and forth, which means you really not working. And you definitely not working the jobs that was paying you six figures, which is what he is used to making. So now you eating up all your savings. You then lose your pension at the major company that you worked for all these years. When you first had that first heart attack, you get sick, you go out, you exhaust all your, you know, medical leave, your this, your that, and then ultimately you can't return to work right away. So you can think about taking disability, but disability not paying no real money. And you know, this cat, he got the Suburban in the yard, he got the 300 in the yard, he got the Jeep in the yard, he got the Harley in the yard, he got the house, he got, I mean, like whatever toy you could think of, that's what this dude is rocking. So he got a certain lifestyle that he's used to. So I can't go on disability because disability is not going to pay for none of that. He is now at a point in his life because of his illnesses that it has dawned on us my brother will not have a pension when he retires.
Wow.
He is already at an age where, and you know, because he always say I'm on borrowed time because each heart attack is worse than the last heart attack. But if this brother is blessed to be around, the reality, we both looking at each other like, this cat ain't gonna have no money. Other than what you paid into Social Security, that's it. The savings has been eaten away because of medical bills and everything, you know, we paying out of pocket. The pension stuff, all that's gone. And so, I say that to say you can be in a house but not be okay.
Yeah.
You people barely hanging on sometimes. Like folks say, I'm glad I don't look like what I'm going through. I gotta take a break. Carla, you'll be first up if you can hang on. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I'll be right. All right, family, welcome back to the show. So today, none other than the king of the king of drama, Donald Trump, will be convening on our great state. His vice presidential pick, has been in the state and had a lot to say when he was here, talking about what went on down in Kenosha after the George Floyd situation. But Donald Trump himself is actually going to be in La Crosse tonight. And this venue, if you've never been to La Crosse, downtown La Crosse area, we're talking about an area that is sitting on the Mississippi River. It's the border between Wisconsin and Minnesota, to give you the visual of where he is in the state. So just know that they literally are following Kamala Harris around the country like stalkers, because Kamala Harris was in La Crosse in April, but we know that JD Vance, everywhere Kamala was moving right before the week of the DNC convention, JD coming in on her heels, you know, planes both landing on the tarmac, roughly around the same time frame. And they have had a problem in terms of messaging and how to talk to people since Joe Biden is no longer the target. So Donald Trump comes to La Crosse, and we're gonna cover that and see what goes on with this visit. But this venue, which can seat about 8,000 people, we will see what kind of turnout he gets, because this dude is all about the size. And there are folks still trying to get tickets to get into the event. I know I had heard that people could register to get 2 tickets to get in. So there are different kinds of precautions being taken, it seems like, in relationship to the visit. One thing, though, that stood out to me was an interview that Donald Trump recently did with none other than Dr. Phil of Oprah Winfrey fame. Dr. Phil has turned out to be an interesting individual, just like Dr. Oz. I don't know what has happened with some of these people that when we saw them on Oprah in the lifespan of her television show, that these people seemed like they were reasonable people, had good sense. I don't think we ever thought about their political views, nor did people care, because you just seemed like decent people that were interested in people's well-being. But there was an interview that and again, why is Dr. Phil getting interviews with politicians? Like, all of that trips me out. So in this interview that Dr. Phil does with Donald Trump, Dr. Phil asked Donald Trump a question about whether or not he thought that Biden and Harris would have minded him being shot, basically, and killed during the assassination attempt. And he prefaced it by saying, I'm not saying that they would, but do you think they would have minded? And I sat there going, who asked a question like that? Because you already know what crazy Donald Trump is going to say. So, Dr. Phil, when you sit down on Tuesday and talk with Donald Trump, and this is the thing, I couldn't figure out in what capacity, because he's a psychologist, but he hasn't been a licensed psychologist for almost 20 years. I didn't know that. You just assume you work that hard to get credentials, you keep up with them. But according to some of the stories I read, this dude hasn't been a licensed psychologist since 2006. I'm just like, wait, what? 18 years? And so you're sitting down and you're interviewing politicians now. Okay, everybody can have a career change. Not hating on you. But he asked him, do you think Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were, quote, okay with him being shot? He said, quote, I'm not saying that they wanted you to get shot, but do you think it was okay with them if you did? Now, y'all know what Trump was going to say. But why would you ask such an ignorant question? You looking for a certain type of answer. You're trying to create an atmosphere for certain information to be dropped into, the conversation, for people to hear something that they typically wouldn't have heard had you not fertilized the area and created space for him to say that, yeah, I believe Biden and Harris would have been fine with me being shot. So the thing I wanted to ask Dr. Phil was, well, did you ask him the same thing about Mike Pence? Were you okay with Mike Pence being killed when the people were looking for him on January 6th? Because I haven't heard that interview. I haven't heard that question be posed to the candidate. Like, I don't know and then you just realize, like, how did y'all become crazy, or was y'all always crazy and we missed it? Or was y'all playing us so that you could get on? Because who the hell knew Dr. Phil before Oprah? For real, for real. She made this dude a household name. Dr. Oz, who's all crazy and runs for Congress and lying about what state he lives in. She makes these people household names. They get a level of celebrity that they would not have otherwise had on their own. So, did you play us? Was you always this conservative, behind the sheets, ignorant individual who breeds a platform for stupidity? Do you think that Harris would have been okay with you being shot? But you don't say. And by the same token, were you okay with Mike Pence being shot? And clearly you were, because you didn't do nothing about it when the people was trying to find him. So, but then in another interview, Donald Trump is talking to, I think it was Elon Musk. And he talks about the cover of Kamala Harris on Time magazine. And Donald Trump says, basically, like, they drew her to make her pretty. She actually on the cover looks like Melania. Look, I know people going to their computers right now to pull up the photo of or the picture of Kamala Harris on Time magazine. But that's what this dude said. And then he says, but she is beautiful. Let me see if I can find his exact words. You cannot make this stuff up. It's like coining the phrase, these people are weird. It's just so perfect because you can denigrate them without denigrating them. Like they are just weird. Hang on. Let me see if I can bring it up. Here I come, y'all. I'm sorry. Because I just thought of this while I was talking. All right. So Trump had already said back on August 20th, he was better looking than Kamala Harris. Remember that. Remember that. And then where is the one about him saying that she looks like Melania? And it's like, so I'm sorry, wait, what's going on? But I can't wait. I know it's on here somewhere. But yeah, and so people are like, I'm sorry, what do you mean? She looks like Melania. She does not look Nathan like Melania Trump.
Near close.
Come on, man. So we will see, because tonight is supposed to be about policy. What he is going to do to help those, Americans that's in the middle, struggling. We'll see how long it takes for it to turn into grievance and a rant and crazy talk. Fooliosity will certainly show up. I'm sorry, because that's my word.
I like that.
But we will see. We shall see how long it takes for it to spiral out of control. Someone said the Republicans are trying to use the Dred Scott case to say Kamala is ineligible to run for president because her parents were not citizens. Uh
Wow. So they doing that whole Obama stuff again.
so and I'm glad that he mentioned that because that was on my radar for yesterday. And this is the thing. So first of all, I can beat you. You're nothing. You're dumb. Because this is all things
Yeah.
they've called her.
Yeah.
You're dumb. You're not. She's not very smart. Not very bright. You're lazy because you had to sleep your way to the top. Even though I don't know how that works out with elections. How many people did you sleep with to get elected? But you had to do all of that. And but yet we're still trying to figure out every way to actually keep her off the ballot. So she's dumb. She's stupid. She's not competent, but you scared to run against her. So in relationship to the Dred Scott thing, because there will be people like Michelle, what are y'all talking about? There seems to be three camps of people in this country when it comes to reliving U.S. history. I'm taking this from an article, I think in the Kansas City Star. Those on the side of embracing our history, even when it's discriminatory, remembering and teaching from it. Those who believe we should bulldoze racist history, change street and building names, and knock down statues of slave owners and racist leaders. And those who don't care about any of it and want to move on with their lives. So, this guy who's writing this, let me see if I want to. Okay, so he said, I asked myself a question when an Atlanta defense attorney and pundit, Andrew Fleischman, raised the question on X, that's the fake Twitter, about a resolution from the National Federation of Republican Assemblies to prevent Vice President Kamala Harris from holding the office of president, citing precedent setting U.S. Supreme Court cases. Among the 6 cases in the document attributed to the NFRA was the Dred Scott versus Sanford decision of 1857. So this guy says, Dred Scott, are you kidding me? Dred Scott is widely regarded as one of the worst Supreme Court decisions of all times. It is so bad, I wish we called it something else, as if not to disparage the black man whose name it uses.
Wow.
At the Supreme Court Historical Society annual lecture in 2009, Justice Stephen Breyer said the title worst reflects the immorality of the decision. If you don't remember your U.S. history, this decision ruled that enslaved people aren't protected citizens. According to archives.gov, in 1846, an enslaved black man named Dred Scott and his wife Harriet sued for their freedom in St. Louis Circuit Court. They claimed that they were free due to their residence in a free territory where slavery was prohibited. A free law project from Cornell's Legal Information Institute found the legal reference, and let me say, I want to say this, found that the majority held that a Negro whose ancestors were imported into the U.S. and sold as slaves, whether enslaved or free, could not be an American citizen and therefore did not have standing to sue in federal court. So I want to read that again. If your ancestors were imported into the U.S. and sold as slaves, whether enslaved or free, you could not be an American citizen and therefore did not have any standing to sue in federal court. So the idea was, I'm one of those people who talk about being a descendant of enslaved people. If you were to go with the Dred Scott decision, I, even though I'm born in America, could never run for president because my ancestors were not born in this country. Not all of them. That's the premise behind them saying Kamala Harris can't run for office here because neither her mom nor her dad were born here. But where was Kamala Harris born?
She was born here in the States.
Ding, ding, ding.
So I thought that the qualifications was you have to be born here, and your what is it that your parents have to live here for
She
like
was
what, a year
born
or
in
something?
Oakland, California. It don't get no more
Yeah.
American, no more hood, no more, black
Oakland.
than being born in Oaktown. She
Yeah.
was born in Oakland, California.
Too short.
The Constitution does not say where your parents were born
Yeah.
and your ancestors were born,
Yeah.
because if that was the case, as is pointed out by the guy writing this article, then neither Nikki Haley or Vivek Ramaswamy should have been able to run for president on the Republican side of the aisle, because neither of their parents were born in the US. They were, but their parents weren't. That's the Dred Scott issue that the caller texted me and brought up, that I meant to hit yesterday and I didn't. But that's the issue. So
Yeah, that's. It seems like double standards to me.
Dred Scott was actually overturned by a constitutional amendment, the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery. Okay. The 14th Amendment, all of those born here become citizens. And the 15th Amendment, the right to vote cannot be denied based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. So, with amendments to the Constitution, what the U.S. Supreme Court interpreted gets tossed, squashed. So, if anybody else hears this whole thing about Dred Scott, in the simplest way I can explain it to you, that's what it's saying. That because of some racist decision that was made in 1857, that was ignorant of the fact that as long as you are born on American soil, you are an American citizen, regardless of the ancestry, lineage, ethnicity, nationality of your parents. That's why they used to call children that were born here of immigrants anchor babies, because it would anchor those parents to the U.S. because they had a child that was born on American soil. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey Michelle, this Angie, the young lady that met you at Juneteenth.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
get to give you I got to give you your flowers, baby, because look at Trump's wife. Come on now, get up our vice president that's gonna be president whenever they get through. She ain't no more hood than like you said. And she was born where? In Compton, California. Come on now. They need to get with the program. I'm down with you, sister. Trust and believe. She got my vote 1,000%.
All right, I hear you.
That part.
That part. Thank you, sis. I
Yeah.
appreciate the call.
All right, you welcome. Keep up the good work, Michelle. You doing your thing, sister.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean,
All
some
right.
of it, all right. Some of it just becomes, like I said, you can't determine like how much of this I need to take serious, how much of this is just crazy talk, how much of this is QAnon in the background. But it was just like some stuff I heard said here on the station from some people talking about, like, number one, the Republican Party, and saying that basically it seems like the parties are flipping. Like Republicans are becoming more like the Democratic Party of old. And I was like, say what? What now? What is this we talking about? And then it was, some statistics being provided about, or, look at the polls. Evidently, Trump is resonating with a lot of Americans because, the polls are neck and neck. Let's be clear. Donald Trump has never had above 50% in the polls. Never. Never. I think it's been like 48% has been the highest. He's never had above 50% in the polls. There have only been 7 landslide presidential races in the history of this country. Only 7. We've had 46 presidents. So in all of this, and I forgot how many elections, but in all of this, there have only been 7 straight out runaway. Oh my God, you got mollywopped in terms of presidential races. And then if you listen to the polls, which a lot of people are more skeptical about right now, coming off of, the 2016 election, everybody's still gun shy because the polls told us Hillary Clinton was winning,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
know Cinderella's carriage turned back into a pumpkin,
Yeah.
and nobody has found the glass slipper yet. So we learned to be skittish on the polls, but the level of you know is there a difference between misinformation and disinformation? Let me look and see.
That's
Is
a good
there
question.
a difference
That's a good question.
between misinformation? Hang on, y'all. I'm coming. I asked these questions on air and okay. So there is an answer. Misinformation is false or inaccurate information, getting the facts wrong. Disinformation is false information, which is deliberately intended to mislead. That's what I thought. And so, but now I got to determine if the people are doing it,
Mm.
if they're doing it because they genuinely don't know, they genuinely believe the dumbness, or they know better, but they're just saying what they need to say.
Well, that's a real good question because I believe in that the people that are spreading the information on purpose and it's wrong, I believe in that they know man that it's a thin line between those two, and they're
um,
walking the line.
okay, hang on one second. Are we gonna be able to get them? Okay. Hang on here. See, hang on, y'all. We are trying to get a. Hang on. We have a guest calling in, and we're trying to get them connected. One moment. I apologize. Um, Here, try this number right here and see if we can get them up. We got the number. Okay, here, try this number right here and see if they answer. All right. Sorry, family. As you all know, I have been talking a little bit this week about the 100th birthday celebration that is being planned for none other than Dr. Finlayson here in Milwaukee. Uh, Dr. Finlayson, storied OBGYN, who has delivered, oh my God, hundreds of babies in the city of Milwaukee. He is the first Black OBGYN at St. Joe's and Sinai Hospitals. He is turning 100 years old. And we always talk about the ability to give people their flowers while they are alive. Uh, First of all, how many of us will see 100 years of age? That's crazy and amazing all at the same time. But this journey that has been the life of Dr. Finlayson. I talked about the fact that he went to Morehouse. He attended Morehouse University with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That was a classmate, and just the many things that he has done. And you think about he's born in 1924. By all accounts, this man was not supposed to accomplish all that he did. You're talking about a period of overt racism, segregation, Jim Crow laws, black codes, even coming out of this period of time. And yet, this man succeeds in spite of it all. And no matter how you look at it, um, this is a life that has to be celebrated. It is one of those stories as we sit in his office space, WNOV radio station at our current location that we're at right now. This used to be Dr. William Finlayson's office. This is where patients were born, where Black women and families, would cycle in and out of here for their appointments. And, I have to smile because, as my son said, my grandson has only known Black doctors his entire life. Every doctor that my grandson has is an African American. And so think about how rare it was to see African American doctors when Dr. Finlayson first began practicing. So I think that we are fortunate right now, and we may have Dr. Finlayson and his daughter on the phone. Sheila, are you there?
Yes, we're both here.
Well, hello. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing fine.
You sound good. Dr. Finlayson, it is such an honor to speak with you. I hear we got a big day coming up.
Who are you?
She said she hears you have a big day coming up.
Yes, and you're occupying my office.
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir. we are
What's
in
the
your
big
office.
day?
This is where my office used to be.
So
The
you're
radio station is in his old building.
yes, I was telling everyone that. Dr. Finlayson, you're about to turn 100 years old?
That's
To
that.
turn 100 years old.
That is correct.
So, Sheila, can you ask your dad to tell us a little bit about how he got started on the journey to becoming an OBGYN?
How did you get started on the journey to becoming an OB/GYN?
Oh, gosh, it's very difficult. As a young adult, you make a lot of decisions, among which was one where my doctor lived, officer right across the street from my daddy's parsonage. And I met Dr. I've forgotten his name now. And ultimately, I went to a place called Florence High School in Orlando, Florida. And Orlando is one of the progressive cities in Florida. Well, when I was there, I met others, and he was very instrumental in me concerning medicine. I talked to many people about many roles in going in the profession, but this was a choice one.
So, I also understand that Dr. Finlayson went to school with Martin Luther King Jr.
I missed that.
Did you go to school with Dr. King?
Yes, after I finished high school, I went into college, and
You met Dr. King?
I'm confused now. I went to college before King, actually. I was a couple of years, I think I was 4 years ahead of King.
Okay.
And so I went to medical school in 1948.
Wow.
1940.
That is
That's
amazing.
But
So,
Ask me about Dr. King. You were at Morehouse with Dr. King,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I was about to recapitulate what happened. I went to the service in 43,
yeah.
and King was too young to go into the service.
Mm.
So he did not go into service. I went and spent 3 years in service, and having finished 2 years of before I went to Morehouse King, which is where I met King.
Okay.
I had gone to Florida A&M.
Mm.
But when I came back, I went to Morehouse, and that's when I met King, and we were classmates, and we got to be good friends. We became brothers, fraternity brothers. And over the years, I was able to meet with him and to bring him to this community and introduce him to his brother, his son. So yes, that is true.
So Sheila, ask Dr. Finlayson, how did he get to Milwaukee? How did we get lucky enough to get him here?
She said, how did you get to Milwaukee? How were they lucky enough that you landed in the city of Milwaukee?
I went to
Minnesota?
prior to Minnesota. I went to medical school, and I went to medical school, and one of the things I learned is that in order to enlarge your mass knowledge of medicine, you need to know as much as you can. I took an extension of a year from the University of Minnesota in OBGYN. And it was there that I was able to meet Dr. McKelvey, who instrumental in me pursuing it more strenuously than I had at the medical school at
Meharry.
At Meharry. And it was there that I decided to try this region. And several of my friends who had been to Meharry came here, and I was instrumental in getting into an office with at least two of these guys. And we developed a practice on River North Avenue. You may have read about it. The fact that they named the street after.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And consequently, I stayed here. And because of my contract with other people in medicine, I stayed and was instrumental in meeting a lot of people and became involved at the medical school as well.
So I have met so many people that have said that you were the doctor that brought them into the world. Sheila, can you ask your dad if he has any idea about how many families he has helped along the way to be able to bring their children into the world?
Yes. My office was on 20th and Capitol at the time, and I was a young doctor, and I wanted to get involved with young people so they could be encouraged to go into medicine. So I had an office in the basement, which I enlarged upon it, and we named and we developed a club called the Du Bois Club.
Ah.
And it was the Du Bois Club that involved several young people who went on to become some of them which in medicine, some in other professions, and it got to be a great group of people, and one of which I see almost monthly, who is now on the staff at University of Wisconsin. And it was through this activity that I encourage people to go into many fields, including medicine, including business, including in respect. And it was very helpful. I see them daily and weekly often.
Dad, she's asking if you know how many families
Yeah, how
you
many
touched
babies
or
he
how
helped?
many babies did you deliver? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea, but at one time, on a given year, I delivered many people. I worked at a very progressive large hospital called St. Joseph Hospital, and at times I delivered as many as 4 or 5 babies in a given year.
400 or 500 in a given
4
year.
or 5 people in a given year, and often I deliver mother and father in the same day. But over a period of time, I delivered hundreds of kids,
So I went.
and was instrumental and meeting and seeing them and having a work for me. As
I love it.
in my office. I may have one around here now.
So Sheila, I actually went and pulled the number. And according to an article I read, it said over Dr. Finlayson's 39-year career that he had delivered more than 10,000 babies.
That was the number that was given to us back in when he retired in 97, actually.
Yeah, so I had to go look for it.
What kind of numbers they give?
10,000, over 10,000 babies.
Well, that may be exaggerated, but it was
he's so modest.
It was a large number, and it maximized by the fact that I see them every day. I see mothers who said, I delivered her yesterday. But it was very good.
Well, Sheila, there is so much to celebrate about your father's amazing life and journey. I do need to take a quick commercial break. Is it okay? Can you guys hang with me for just like 1 minute so we can just take care of this one commercial? Because I don't want people to miss the opportunity to at least hear about, why North Milwaukee State Bank was created and what the whole journey has been like for him at 100 years to look back where he started and to think about everything that he has seen. So I will touch on that when we come back from the break. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I am smiling like he delivered me. This is such an amazing moment. Just give us 1 second. We'll be right back. Michelle Bryant.
Okay, great.
All right. Michelle Bryant,
Thank
WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Be right back, you all.
Pimpin'. Oh boy. What y'all know about her?
All right, welcome back, family. I am over the top at the guest that I have on the air this afternoon. When I say that this is an honor and a privilege, it's not many people can say that they're talking to someone who actually sat in a classroom and was lectured by George Washington Carver. Like, how often can you say something like that? We are joined right now by Sheila Finlayson and Dr. William Finlayson, who, as many people know, first African American OBGYN in Milwaukee, I think in the state of Wisconsin, had a practice that was housed right here on 20th and Capitol in the very office that I am working in right now. I had to go back and I wanted to remember all the names of these amazing Fab Four, or really five African American doctors: Dr. Walter White, Dr. Randall Pollard, Dr. George Hilliard, Dr. Gerald Poindexter, and Dr. Finlayson. And so we are joined right now. Dr. Finlayson's daughter, Sheila, is helping us with the interview. So are you both still there?
Yes, we're here.
Wonderful,
Yes,
wonderful.
years ago,
So Dr. Finlayson, in addition to your medical practice, one of the things and one of the ways that I first became aware of who Dr. Finlayson was the co-founding of North Milwaukee State Bank. Sheila, can we ask Dr. Finlayson to talk a little bit about why he wanted to do that, why that was necessary, and what that work had meant to him?
So the question, why you started North Milwaukee State Bank, why was that important to the community?
well, as you well know, culture and the ability to purchase and to buy homes, etc., was sometimes very difficult, even in the black community and other communities. It was a group of people who got together. It started actually in a Baptist church, and we began by eliciting the help and the support to help other people to get loans, to get houses, etc. And we were instrumental in getting a group together. And that group consisted of several doctors and several people in the community. And the bank started and did reasonably well for a number of years. It was during a time when black banking was at its pinnacle. Over the years, however, it hit its low points, and many the banks had difficulty, and we were one of those who had difficulty in the later years. But I'm glad to say, because of it, this community is better off. I got better employees. Many of them work for me.
So they worked at North Milwaukee State Bank for you also?
Yes, they did.
So, Sheila, could you ask your dad just to say a little bit about his partner in life, Mrs. Edith Finlayson, and what their journey and their work was like, trying to take on a lot of the issues in the community, but what it meant to be married to Mrs. Edith?
So she wants to know what your life was like with you and Edith working in the community together, and Edith's impact on the community.
That is a point as well taken, and you should know that there's no greater lady in this community than Edith Finlayson. She was on the Board of Regents. She taught at UWM. She was instrumental with the nurses when we got ready to interview minority institutions in this institution. Edith was a major factor. And I can't tell you what a great influence she had in this community, in my family, and on the family of many people.
So it sounds like your dad would agree that he was a very lucky guy.
I think so. I think you got that.
I think that point was made very, very well. So just in a final question, having lived 100 years, with the election of a Barack Obama and now a Kamala Harris potentially ascending to the presidency, and given everything that your dad has seen by way of segregation and Jim Crow and the fight for civil rights, what has it meant to be a witness to all of this over the last 100 years?
So the question, what has it meant to see a Black president in Barack Obama and a potential African-American woman as president? How has things changed over the years? What have you seen? And how do you feel now about all of the history that you've witnessed?
Over the years, I've seen it made manifest in many areas, one of which we've already mentioned, and that was Martin Luther King. And as I indicated, Martin Luther King went to was an outstanding musician and
outstanding leader. Yeah.
And were there so many others? Martin G. King. You can name hundreds of them.
I saw
and
it.
It's been done through the leadership of the Black community. And they felt that in order for Blacks to succeed, they must help others. One of the things that the Du Bois Club did. Du Bois, W.E.B. Du Bois, was a great leader, scholar, who insisted when he was in fraternity that if you can't raise other Blacks, you probably shouldn't be a part of the fraternity. And it was his name that helped us with the Du Bois Club.
Dad, how does it feel to have seen a Black president and potentially to see another Black president? I mean, over the years, you've seen a lot. So what does it mean?
Well, it's no doubt that Black people manifest great qualities in so many areas. They're great scholars, like I indicated, Martin Luther King, many of the great writers of our time. One of the people that I knew most and best in this century was a lady named Bethune.
Wow.
Who I had major impact. I take the word back. I did not have a major impact. She had a major impact on me.
What do you think she would say about her or about Kamala Harris?
And
as president?
She would certainly say she walks in my footsteps. And I was at Morehouse. And when I was at Florida and Daytona Beach.
Is it time? Do you think it's about time to have an African American woman as president?
We will have an African American black woman as president. I predict it.
I love it. I love it. This is how clearly he has accomplished all the things that he has in this life. You know, you name it, you claim it, and you help make it happen. I love this. So look, Sheila, remind people of what the family is doing to celebrate your dad's 100th birthday.
Well, we're creating a novel idea of a drive-by party. You know, with COVID on the rise and all sorts of infections, we want to keep him safe. But at the same time, we want to give his family, his friends, his patients, the babies he's delivered, an opportunity to wish him well. And so we're simply doing a drive-by party. He'll be outside and folks can drive through his driveway and wave to him, drop off cards, but, you know, give him his well wishes. So that's on Saturday between 2 and 4 here at his home.
All right. And I will make sure I repeat the address for folks, but I just can't tell you, like, I have had some amazing interviews. I have been very blessed and fortunate. When I tell you this is at the top of the list, because when I think about the people that have been important in my life, that have influenced the way I have a world view, that my drive to care about my community, many of the names that Dr. Finlayson has mentioned that have been mentors or colleagues or classmates, you know, I don't know anyone that knows these people, yet alone someone who holds the title of first OBGYN in this city. So this is one of the most, and I'm an African American history studies major. So this is just icing on the cake for me. Thank you so much, Dr. Finlayson, for everything that you have done for this community, for so many families, and the things that you poured into to us that never even met you, but we understood what your legacy was, and we're working to figure out how to live up to it, and giving us opportunities. So thank you so much. Please make sure that your dad knows what I'm saying, Sheila.
I will definitely. I have the phone to his ear. But thank you for giving him the opportunity to share a little bit of his history.
This is amazing. You all, I will see you on Saturday when I ride through in the red Jeep.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing you.
Yes, ma'am.
Happy many more days to come.
Take care, Dr. Finlayson. Oh my God, that is the best. I cannot stop smiling. That is incredible, man. 100, and then got the memory. And look, he didn't mention folks like, I went back and pulled articles. People that came to his house, Alex Haley. I'm sorry, Roots Alex Haley, Muhammad Ali, my girl, Etta James. I mean, like, this man and the impact and the people that he knew, folks that we studied and read about and are watching, biographies and movies about. This was his life. And you do that being born in 1924. I was telling him that George Washington Carver was his professor. Dr. Finlayson himself went to college at the age of 16. He was at FAMU at the age of 16. When you talk about bad boys, come on now. When you talk about brothers succeeding when everything said they wasn't supposed to. And look at what kind of leaders they go on to become. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Ward. How you doing?
So favored to hear from Dr. Finlayson, who delivered both my daughters, and one of my daughters graduated from Spelman. My nephew graduated from Morehouse, and my son graduated from FAMU.
Hey, hey.
And when I came to Milwaukee, I was from Atlanta. There were plenty black role models.
Yes.
And everywhere I've been since I left Atlanta, I've been looking for role models, black in black. And he is one.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ward, for adding that. I appreciate it. We've got a couple people I'm going to try and get in before I get off the air. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you today?
I am. He was my doctor.
Wait, can you take us off speaker? It's hard to hear you a little bit.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
He was my doctor. Layson was.
Really?
And Poindexter was my mother's doctor.
Wait.
On 5th and North Avenue.
Wait, do you have your radio on too?
Yes, I do.
Can you turn it down for me? Because we're getting the feedback.
Okay,
I want to make sure I hear what you're saying.
Okay, he was my doctor. He delivered me.
Really?
Yes, and my mother was the Layson, and I was her doctor.
Get out of here.
I remember Dr. Hilliard.
Yes.
Dr. Dale. Dr. White.
I mentioned Dr. White.
And I am 77 years old.
Come on.
So
stop
I remember them.
Okay, this is amazing. Thank you so much for adding
now
that.
What's the address for his birthday?
Yes, ma'am. Let me give it right now. So the address, and you want to hang up and I'll say it while you get a pen?
I will do that.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am. I'll get it for you. All right. So the address 7320 North Pheasant Lane, and that's Pheasant, like the bird. 7320 North Pheasant Lane, and that's in River Hills. We got another caller on the line. Let's get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, Michelle?
Hey.
I just wanted to call in. I've been trying when you had talked about it before. Got to know Dr. Finlayson pretty well. He delivered both my kids, but I had a bone to pick with him. You know, I played basketball and everything.
Okay.
So in the ultra style, he tells me, "Oh yeah, you're gonna have a long finger basketball player." so what am I thinking?
You know what?
I'm thinking it's gonna be a boy. He pops out of there.
A girl.
Yeah, but you know what? I credit Dr. Finlayson for teaching me a lesson that boy or girl to love him.
There you go.
Boys need love. So
that's all right.
That's the lesson that I took from it. So
thank you.
All right, just want to chime in with that.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I mean, like I said, to hear someone 77 call in and say that was my doctor, and he's 100. Like we don't get to do that.
So that means that he was like 30-something years old when he.
But again, because remember, I'm saying
her.
He went to college when he was 16.
Yeah.
He was in the military, I think, at 23.
Wow.
Because, and what did he say? Dr. King wasn't old enough to go. So Dr. King sounded like he was like 3-4 years behind him.
Yeah.
And so by the time he comes back to finish, because he had already done 2 years by the time he turns 18. Yeah. Wow. So by the time he comes back to finish, he does 3 years in. Yeah, he's coming back. He's in the game by 25, 26. He's ready, doing his thing. So I am just I'm just blown away. Wow. This is the kind of stuff that our young people definitely got to be exposed to. You want to take it? Let's take it. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Is this WNOV?
Yes, it is.
I was just calling in to make a comment about Dr. Finlayson.
Okay, please, go ahead.
Pardon me?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just calling to say that he was my doctor, too, when I delivered my children.
Okay.
And he was more like a father figure, as well as an obstetrician.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And how old are your children now?
They're well grown. I'm 70. So
hey.
Yeah.
That's all right.
He was such a beautiful doctor. And my children and I ran into him at a grocery store once, and they were like 7, 6, maybe 7 and 8. But anyway, I said, "Oh, you guys," I said, "this is the doctor that delivered y'all." And he came up to the car and was like, "Hi, how are you guys doing? You look different." I know he didn't remember, but he knew how to address things, right?
All right.
And so when he left, one of my sons said to me, "Why is he at this grocery store?" I said, "You gotta eat too."
Hey,
You
look.
know, but he was a beautiful person, and so was his wife. I tell you,
Yes, ma'am.
there are a lot of people in the world like that, but to have experienced those two people, it is beautiful. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate the call. All right, family, I got to get out the way. Tune in tomorrow. We'll see if we can match today. But hey, I'm good. We'll talk to y'all. Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you, Basquiat. Appreciate you, bruh. Talk to y'all later. Peace.